Good morning. Today we are working on our last objective of this unit, Po19. I can divide fractions by fractions. So we worked with adding and subtracting those fractions, multiplying fractions. Now we're talking about dividing fractions. So let's do a quick review. What are the steps for adding or subtracting fractions? Who remembers the first step? Emma. Yeah, we need common denominators. So I know I usually have a notes page, but it's only a couple of things we're going to be writing today. What would our second step be? When we are adding those fractions, who remembers what that second step would be? That second reminder. Add the top, but that denominator, remember, stays the same. So the denominator stays the same. Who remembers our last step? Evelyn? Yeah. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Reduce it down as low as you can go. Sometimes it will be simplified all the way reduced down. Sometimes we need to add that. Okay? Multiplying. What do we do? Bennett? I'm going to put simplify as our second reminder. What's the big thing we do when we multiply fractions? Nolan? Don't need a common denominator multiplying. That's only adding or subtracting. When we multiply, what do we do, Lila? Multiply across. And then, like Bennett said, we either simplify in the first place, that cross simplifying, or we simplify at the end. But always look to see, can I simplify? So with fractions, we multiply across, and we're always looking for simplifying, either cross simplifying in the beginning or simplifying at the end. Okay, so those are big reminders. Now dividing, we add a step, just like adding and subtracting are kind of the same thing, you just do a different operation. Multiplying and dividing are very similar, but with dividing we have to do something first. So the final operation we're going to talk about is division, and there are two ways to do it, and neither of them actually involve dividing. So let's look at some examples. We have 2/3 divided by 4/5. We have 1/8 divided by 6/7, and 9/10 divided by 4. First way we're going to look at is converting to multiplying. So if I have 2/3 divided by 4/5, how do I want to convert that to multiply? Does anyone remember from last year? Bennett?
Do not touch the first one, but convert the second one.
So do not touch the first one, it stays the same. What does it mean when you convert the second one, Bennett? We flip it to its reciprocal. So the first fraction stays the same. We flip our second fraction to the reciprocal. And because we're flipping, what do we flip dividing to? Maddie? Multiplying. So when you flip dividing to multiply, you flip that second fraction. First fraction stays the same, not 1 or 20. Then we do our math. We know how to multiply fractions. We've already done that in the last couple of chapters. So we multiply like normal. The big difference was we had that reciprocal of only the second fraction. Like Bennett said, that first fraction you don't touch. First fraction stays the same. So let's look at 1/8 divided by 6/7. what would I convert that to? How do I convert it? Emma?
0, 1,
What operation am I doing, Emma? Multiply. We can't forget that we flip it to multiply. When you flip that second fraction to its reciprocal, you flip to multiplying. Adeline. In the assignment, we're going to be solving them. Right now, I'm just showing us how to set them up. Okay? We know multiplying fractions, you multiply straight across, so I'm just showing us how to set it up right now. If we have 9/10 divided by 4, what do I convert that to? Sophie? Yeah, I keep the 9/10 the same. I flip dividing to multiplying, and like Sophie said, we know a whole number's over 1. So if we flip it to the reciprocal, it would be times 1/4. So that's one way of doing it. To be honest, that's the way my brain typically goes to. I gravitate towards converting it to multiplying. That's what works for me. But there's another way that might work better for you. It's called cross multiplication. So if we have 2/3 divided by 4/5, we can cross multiply like this. So we would have 2/5 times 5 and 3 and 4 times each other. So if we look at our top one, if we had 2/3 times 5/4, we multiply across. 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 4 is 12. We get the same answer. So you can convert that dividing to multiplying, and you would get 10/12. Of course, we have to simplify still, right? So we would divide out that 2, and we would have 5/6. But if we cross multiplying, multiply as a diagonal here, 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 4 is 12, we would get the same answer. James?
The denominator on the 1/5 is supposed to be, oh wait. The denominator has to be 15/10 because 3 times 5 equals 15.
Where are you doing 3 times 5?
On the cross multiplication.
But what is
never
the
mind.
3 being multiplied by?
Oh, yeah.
The 4, because you have to go at the diagonal. We don't multiply straight across. So let's look at the next one. I know there's a couple of questions. Let's see if doing it again will help us figure it out. So we had 1/8 divided by 6/7. If we multiply the 1 times the 7, we get 7. And then we multiply the 8 times the 6, and we get 48. So we have 7/48. If we looked at the top, multiplying across, 1 times 7 is 7, 8 times 6 is 48. We can't simplify. It doesn't go any simpler than that. It's reduced down as far as we can go. So if you want to do the cross multiplication, you take the first numerator, multiply it by the second denominator, so it goes diagonal. That's your new numerator. You take that denominator, multiply it by that numerator, that's across from it, that's the new denominator. Adeline.
How do you know which one's going to be the denominator?
It's always going to be this first number multiplied by the denominator is the new numerator. So it's always that first numerator, you multiply it diagonal, it becomes the new numerator. The first denominator multiplied diagonally becomes the new denominator. It always goes that same order. Good question. Emma? Yes. We cannot use calculators. There will be no calculators on this test. but you can use the multiplication facts from your assignment notebook. So our last one, we had 9/10 divided by 4, which is 4 over 1. We cross multiply. 9 times 1 is 9. 10 times 4 is 40. So up above, 9 times 1 is 9. 10 times 4 is 40. So you get the same answer. Some of us are saying, oh, cross multiplying, I totally get it. I'm going to do that. Some of us are saying, I learned last year how to do that reciprocal and then multiply across. I'm going to stick with that. Whichever one works for you. Okay. If we look at our directions, it says show how to divide the fractions with both cross products and by converting to multiplication. So for 4 problems, we're going to try using both. Some of us, it might be a little bit more challenging for one of the methods. Some of us are going to be okay with it. But we only have 4 there that we're going to try it with. We're going to do the first one together. 3/4 divided by 1/5. If I convert that to multiplication, what is that going to look like? Adeline.
3/4 times 5.
And then if I multiply across now, 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 1 is 4. You can choose to leave it an improper fraction, or you can choose to turn it into a mixed number. On the test, I will accept either way, improper or mixed number. If we turn that into a mixed number, 4 goes into 15 3 times, and there is 3 left over. That denominator stays the same. Now, it says I have to use both. I also have to do that cross products, cross multiplying. How do I do that? Emma?
You put the 3/4 and
I multiply that 3 times 5, which is 15. And 4 times 1 is 4. I get that same 15/4 or 3 3/4. When we get to that third one, 7/8 divided by 2 1/2, what important thing do I have to do first? Everybody take a look at this one. What do I have to do before I can do any of the operations? What has to happen, Maddie?
You have to change the 2 1/2 to a fraction.
I have to change that mixed number to be improper. You have to do that. When you're multiplying or dividing fractions, you cannot leave it a mixed number. You have to change it. So remember, to change that, we have 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, denominator stays the same. So you must change any mixed numbers to be improper in order to multiply. And then on the bottom, he put, now pick your favorite. Now here's the deal. He didn't write in fractions for us, so I'm going to give you fractions to write in. So we're going to do 4, just like up top, and you're going to write these fractions in. So first we have 3/4 divided by 1/3. Then we have 4/5 divided by 3/4. 5/6 divided by 3 1/3. And 5 divided by 2/3. And then on the bottom, you're gonna You just have to do it one way. Up top, you're doing it both ways. On this section, you're just doing it that one way. Which way did you like doing better? We practice both ways. Now pick which one you want to focus on. On the bottom, it says fill in the missing values to make each equation true. So you'll have to work backwards. If it's 1/4 divided by a fraction equals 3/8, what fraction would we divide by to equal 3/8? How do you think we would solve that first one? Bennett? Remember, when we're dividing, we're multiplying that reciprocal. So what would I multiply 1 by to get 3? Madeline? Yeah, you're right. I have to multiply that 1 by 3. I have to multiply the 4 by 2, but I'm going to do it flipped because it's dividing. So figure out the rest, figure out which numbers you would need to multiply by to get that answer. Make sure you're understanding where to put it. Any questions? Okay, we will be correcting this tomorrow, and then we will do our review of the unit to make sure we're ready for that practice test Thursday, real test Friday. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. If you have questions, you can stay after school Wednesday or Thursday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.